it's not interested in. It's interested in consumption. It's interested in more people consuming more of what it makes because it makes more money. And those at the top are going, this is great. And it is great. It's great for them. It's not great for the planet. It's not great for people who can't access that. The very people you're talking about are going, oh my God, how do I fit in here? My answer to fitting in and feeling content would be to find an alternative way. If
there is.
Hey?
If there is.
Of course there is. There must be. If I were young now, I think I would pretty much shun. I don't know. It's really hard to answer. I know I wouldn't become an actor. I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole because that's become a business, and I'm not interested in that form being a business. But everything's become a business. Education is a business. Everything is a business. It's about making money, which means when it's about making money, it means that you are not important in that system. If the money is more important than you, claro.
Things cost more. Everything you need costs money.
Oh, not really. This is. I tell you. No, listen. I am in a very privileged position because I live here. But even if I still want the entire thing to collapse, and I mean collapse. Now, oh dear, what do I do about toilet paper? What do I do about food? I will go foraging. There's so much food around here. Might not be the food I want, right? But there's so much food around here. Toilet paper, I'm going to have to find another way, clearly.
Just go to the river and just clean your ass.
Oh, that'll ruin the river, though. That's pollution. No, there's got to be a better way. There'll be a big hole. And, maybe there's a cloth I wash or something. I don't know. It'll be okay. It's, got any other problems I need to solve? How do I heat stuff? I'll find matches. I can make a fire. We go back to Koreland. And you know what will happen then? I will be so connected to the stars and the land and everything else. I will be like at one, and I won't have worries. I will have the worries of, we need to get more food, so I need to. The fucking rats got into my MacNut storage area. We'll just skin them and feed them to the dogs. I don't know, but it is. Look, the other thing, it's. Problems are gifts. Problems are gifts for you to kind of find out something else. They're gifts. A problem is a gift. This is another acting thing, right? We go, how do we solve this problem? There's a problem of how we communicate this idea. And within the problem will be the solution. And in the solution, you'll find, not a problem. There are no problems, only like solutions. That's what you find. And this doesn't apply to capitalism. Well, it may, but I'm not backing us to all come through with the capitalist way. I'm backing it for it to crash and we pick up the ruin. We sort something nicer out of the ruins. That's what I think.
Do you think you could sort out something nicer, or it's just?
Oh, it'll be hell on wheels for a lot of people. It'll be horrible.
Because we forget, but there was 2 world wars in the span of 20 years.
Yeah. What was that about?
In world wars, it was in Europe, but it seems like now we have a lot of problems. But I was thinking the other day, like, they were sending all these young people to die.
Correct. Yeah, correct.
For just
land,
an idea, or
an idea, for an idea,
for
a belief system.
Imagine what was all about. How many people died?
Oh, millions.
Millions people.
No, millions. Literally millions of people.
Millions of people. And I was thinking, I was like, first of all, I thought we are not in such negative position right now.
No. We're in a really, listen.
Second of all, I think, fuck, if it happened, it could happen, will happen again. Not maybe a war, but also a catastrophe in a certain way.
A catastrophe, not. I don't think a war, because a war. Nobody wants a war, otherwise we would have had another one.
Economically, you can't have a war right now.
No, you can't. You can't do it. Israel's pushing
a little bit.
Israel's really keen.
Now and then some wars in Africa, everything, but
not at the scale. But I think you're more likely to get, and God, I hope I'm not too prophetic here, but you're more likely to get a major tectonic shift. And
Like physically,
yeah,
like
physically.
like America separates from Canada.
No, more like America goes, and that California, that whole Californian shelf
Yeah.
moves 10, 20 meters south, and that's going to cause, and the same thing in Japan. So you lose two big economic powerhouses in one go,
California.
and Japan, yeah.
So you think
And the other one is this ignoring, oh, climate change isn't real. Okay, it's still getting warmer lately.
But
Whatever, there's something going on.
climate change,
Whether it's
the
man-made or
name, the
not.
name has been like very misused in a lot of ways. You know, it's not about climate change. It's about the idea of going against nature.
Correct.
It's not that it's changed. The climate has gone up 0.2 degrees. It has scientific implications, but the moral, social, and environmental implications of going against nature, just the act of polluting nature.
You've got a strong, like, morality thing in you where you think there's a kind of a spiritual, if you do something against the fabric of the universe, it will come back and I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. It may be. I'm saying you personally, you, Germán, have a very.
I think that there's like a. Like
were you brought up?
I
Were you
think
brought
like
up as a Catholic?
I mean, I learned Catholicism,
Yeah, you were brought up as a Catholic.
but I don't
Give
consider
me a child till the age of 7.
I don't consider myself a Catholic.
I don't consider you are either, but some of those ideas, some of that,
My idea is that, yeah, could be that.
well, it just needs, I'm just saying, it just, you could have a little look at that and go,
No, but that also helps me like to think like I think there's like certain written codes of nature, like how things work in nature, the seasons, how grass grows.
seasons have changed.
But they're always changing. They will always change.
Oh, I don't know, no, for 50 years of my life, spring was always,
What is 50 years in 4 billion years of Earth?
well, I just think it's changing
We had a
pretty
20,000
rapidly. Are you saying, look, it may not be man-made, whatever, it is changing.
No, I believe that we have changed it. So I believe
we have
I
to.
believe that we got
I believe without a shadow of a doubt.
CO2 from the soil in form of hydrocarbons or whatever other ideas, like were for millions of years accumulating there, and then we pop it on the surface. 5 minutes a week, and we popped it out, and that obviously we know that CO2 creates a greenhouse effect, but not only the CO2, but the idea of just decimating fish population.
Correct.
The idea of poisoning the soil with fertilizers and chemicals.
Correct.
All that idea for me is true.
The idea of
I think
microplastics is the big
will
one.
come in a certain way towards us because we are going against the real way of nature. We are subjugated to nature.
Yeah, and listen,
We are subjugated to nature, even if we don't want to.
we are part of nature. We are just another fucking species,
Because we
mate.
need it. We need to breathe. We need to eat. We need the seasons. We need everything.
Yeah, and we are poisoning it.
Yes, we are poisoning it. And I believe that comes back again. How comes? In form of chronic diseases like cancer, Alzheimer,
Of course.
other ways.
Now listen, this is why, me personally, you go, well, then why am I not going? I think it's meaningless. I think it's like all, it's being poisoned. I'm still positive. I love being alive.
That's why I didn't say I'm still positive and that the outlook for the future is positive.
No, but listen, but I'm just, because I think we may well destroy ourselves. That's out of my hands. Absolutely out. But if we do, this is why I'm positive. Even if there was a nuclear holocaust, 1,000 years later, the planet's still rolling around. You know what would happen? Little plant would go, blink.
Yeah.
And before you know it, all plants would, and we'd start again. And nature would still win.
Yes. Yes.
The idea of God wouldn't last, but the idea of nature,
It's not about, but who will win? What is nature? We are nature also.
so a mutated form of us may go, boink.
A mutated form of us is just a flower.
And here, this is to answer your question. They won't remember you, me. They won't remember Caesar. They won't remember anything of what happened before. They won't. They won't even know about it. Oh, they might go through and they'll find some remnants of, they might find an old copy of Lord of the Rings and base an entire religion upon it. What do I know? And here's the thing about your life now then. Make the most of it. Suck the marrow out of the bone.
The marrow out of the bone.
Yeah, and do what you want to do. And do what you think makes sense.
You happy.
Makes you happy and makes sense. Sometimes that might be, I want to save enough money to
Buy a house.
say,
Some other days might say, I just want to go on a solo.
I want to go skiing in Japan, right? But what happens, you can go skiing in Japan for 20 years, every summer, every winter, every summer you go over there and you ski. Eventually, is this thing because the mind goes, well, I've sort of done that and it wants
Something else?
yes, it will change for you. And you've got to, look, it's all about the change as well. We keep changing. So this is this idea of, this idea of you go,
The initial of the conversation.
I've found it. I've here.
Was paradoxical, humor, and change. The three pillars of life.
That's it.
Paradoxical, you have to take everything with humor in a certain way because it's meaningless. And the last one that we hadn't talked about, but it's so funny because even I thought about kindness 4 months ago, and then we talked about kindness.
Okay, good.
And I was thinking about change, but I didn't say it.
This is it.
Didn't say it to you.
But this is it.
And then it came.
Of course it'll come because that's the only thing that. Look, we age. That's the fuck. It's like the secret of life. You are going to go from a baby, through these young formative years. I've got kids. Through your 20s, where you're going, whoa, I am. Oh my God! I formed myself into
my hormones are growing, my muscles, and
I'm a Greek god, and women are batting them off with a stick. I'm so sexy. That won't last. I'd love it to, but it just doesn't. There was a certain point in, I think it was maybe 50, and you'd walk down the street, and normally a girl would look, you'd catch a girl's eye and they'd catch your eye and you'd kind of look at each other and you'd turn around and sure enough, they'd look back as you look back and you go, yeah, well, there's an attraction there, baby, beautiful. Now I walk past them and they're not even aware of my existence. And it's like, I'm the same.
So you have to cope with that.
Yeah, you got to cope with that as well. Look, you will go... Shakespeare said it, the 7 stages of man.
How you cope with that? With acceptance.
Acceptance. It's fine. You lose faculties. You lose the ability to run. You lose
gain others.
Hey?
Gain others.
No, you don't. But your mind becomes a lot more accepting and a lot less harried by the vicissitudes of life. By the shit that's thrown at you, and you can learn how to deal with it, and you can laugh it off half the time. And you also, most people learn it doesn't matter much. If you've got any sense, you learn it's not important. Nothing. So just go and do what you want, really, without hurting anyone. Do whatever you want with kindness, knowing it's meaningless, but knowing you should do it anyway because you might get something out of it.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Or maybe nothing.
But
just the act of doing.
Listen,
just,
acting is derided, I think, by most people. Like, people love movie stars, but they don't actually understand what we're doing. But what we're doing is, somebody says, do you want to do this show? We go, oh, yeah, okay. You not paid very much to do it, but you're taking a huge risk when you do that because it could be awful. But all of you are trying to make it good. We're all joined in this endeavour to make it good. And you look around who your fellow companions are, and you go, "Oh, I'm in really all right. Actually, I'm the worst person here. Good, that's great.
That's good.
Except that's bad. But because then I've got to.
Good.
Yeah, but it's great because at least it's going to be good. And you take this, and every night you have to start from scratch and make it good. It's a perfect metaphor for life. And at the end of it, you wrap it up and you go, well, what was all that about? And you go, well, I don't know. We pleased some people and I
And
made some money, but not
That could
enough.
be yeah, that's a good comparison, eh?
It's an extremely good comparison.
There's
That's why it's a really healthy occupation for a human being.
But especially acting without cameras, even crazier.
Oh yeah, no, you want to do theatre, not.
Yeah.
I mean, the camera's fine, but it's also like my ideal form of theatre. No set, no lights, just actors,
Just raw.
just raw. Yeah, because we're powerful, we're human, we're interesting, we are. Does that answer your questions?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Yes. It was nice. It was good.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, not really.
You're a joy, man. You are such a joy.
It was good. I got into the heat of it, eh?
Well, you did. There was a moment there. We're chatting. Listen, what I do like is the idea that there are ideas, kindness and change.
That's because you have to put ideas. You need ideas.
Yes, but what I'm happy about is I'm supplying them as part of the through line anyway without prompting.
Yes.
Because these are the immutables. These are the things that don't change.
Yeah.
It's always changing. So you can't become fixed yourself. You can't right, now I've got it all under control.
Boom.
Boom, yeah, indeed. Or within your own mind, when you are so happy. You are there's a girl, you bought a house, you perfect job, it's all good and that's great. For a year you are going, I am just
Amazing.
Then somewhere some seed of doubt creeps in about something and you go, what if there's anything? What should I be doing something?
Am I doing right? If everything is going right?
Yeah, and this is the norm.
But no,
But you want, like, I think you've got to look deep inside yourself. You've got to pass through the dark night of the soul. You've got to answer all those questions for yourself. Who am I? What do I believe? Blah, blah. What do I believe? Not what do my parents believe and what have I accepted? What do I believe? What do I think? Who am I? And when you find roughly who that person is,
go for it.
well, you go for it. But it's also, it'll stand you in good stead because that's who you go back to. And if there's any flaws in that,
yeah,
you'll find them out soon enough and you'll have to go through it again and readjust. But look, people are going to die all around me. I've sort of started a poem which begins, I have entered the valley of the shadow of death, not my own, but people I have known. And yeah, that's what it feels like. It feels like, oh my God, every week there's somebody else I have known or
have known in the past.
Yeah, gone, died. Or you go, oh, gee. And no, I don't think they ascend with angels up to some magical place or go down below where there's an accounting.
I think they outlive in.
They live in my memory. They live in other people.
They outlive you because they live in whatever people they touch, whatever they.
And I guess, look, even if you're an asshole, you're remembered in people's minds, but you're remembered as an asshole.
Fuck this asshole.
Yeah, but they go, well, they can't shake the idea, but they're less likely to be remembered than. In fact, there's a line in this poem, in this play I'm doing, and then it's from a poem, and it says, "Beloved, the beloved shall never die. The beloved shall never die, for love is immortality."
Yes.
And this is true.
It's very poetic, but also, yes, that's the perfect thing.
I can take you. There's a grave up there with 5 dogs on it.
I'm trying to. It's also scientific. Love is science, also in a certain way.
Well, yeah. I also play as scientist. Oh, he's the one who says that because he says you won't find the answer in science. You'll find it in poetry. Because
Poetry is the soul speaking.
Yeah. But this is like as you right now, and if I say
read it again,
the beloved shall never die, for love is immortality.
Boom,
shakalaka, yeah. Now, if I mention your sister, your brain will automatically go to her.
I've had a thought about that,
and that feeling of your feeling for her will pass through you as
And it's the system of belief again. I talked with
Is it belief or is it like I don't know? If
a
that's-
universal truth.
I think it's a universal truth. Like this is I studied all this as part of my acting stuff where I went.
So, yeah,
Like the thought
it's
is
just
is 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 profound. Oh, speaking of love, Louis, Scotty and Louis. And yeah, so somewhere around there. But all I'm saying is, you will remember her forever, and if she outlives you, she will remember you forever. And that's how you stay on in people's minds. There are some like Caesar, who will stay on historically,
for their whatever.
well, until such time as. But there are many. I mean, this is what everyone. This is sometimes why people try and achieve so much is so they can be remembered.
Remembered? Yeah, I had this idea when I was young. Like whatever, I wrote a poem that said basically, whatever one you achieve, the maximum that you can achieve is like being a statue in the middle of a roundabout, just shitted by pigeons.
Hey, that's a good. So you've been in this ballpark most of your life. Yes, you've achieved an enormous amount. You have a statue.
Yeah, and then you're just shitted by pigeons on your face.
Correct. That is the meaning of life.
You know,
That's the meaning of life. Yes, your fame is not worth a piece of shit fundamentally, but it's fine. And you know, this is what you watch. What happened with all those statues that were torn down because they were slave owners or whatever. You know, times will change, man. That's change again. And because they were not kind, they were torn down. So, you know, thematically, I will always go back to those.
I don't know why they turned down colon statues. Cristobal Columbus.
What? Well, they will.
No, they've done it already.
Yeah, of course they torn down Captain Cook too. What about Magellanus?
Magellan, he died, so probably he's a martyr. So at the end of the day,
Yeah, you want to be a martyr. Very good. Yeah, beautiful. But look, on a serious note, just to sum up what we've been talking about, the things I talk to you about, they're not glib, right? They're not like, oh, I think they're tried and tested. Every time I deal with stuff, it comes back to this: is the answer is somewhere in this area. Where
somewhere, not perfectly, but somewhere.
Well, you know, I might go, oh, I've thought about it, but I think about it. It's not like I go, you know, I think about it deeply. I've wasted so many. People go, what do you do? I'm wasting time thinking about what's the meaning of life is what I'm doing. But it is meaningless. It's pointless. It's because anything I achieve may be opposed by 1,000 other people who think it's absolute bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it's only in my mind that I'm achieving these things and it gives value to me, which is, I suppose I've got to a point where I go, I don't care whether I do the acting caper or not. I'll keep cleaning because it makes money and it feeds the family, that's all. Until such point as that's not happening anymore, and then I'll have to hustle some other way.
So that you believe that there has to be joy in existence, because
I think so.
Because they're always like, everything is like trying to get you out your mind out of the raw act of existing.
Yeah. So
the raw act of existing is quite.
Oh, it's not the. But look, I have my joy on my lap and in my surrounds and. The white rat. So, you know, I have my joy in terms, and for example, I found myself getting really angry with my kids because they weren't doing. I go, that's nuts. So I find more joy with them, and ever since, like this thing of kindness, this thing with my father, I've been so much nicer with them, because it's easier. Like once you kind of uncover a truth, I think, yeah, oh, that is the truth. Let's play that note.
Yes, kindness,
and your kindness is
meaningless.
And the other, like, fearlessness is a really great quality too. Not stupidity.
We talked about that also.
Yeah, good, but fearlessness. So what you're doing is great because you feel it as a personal challenge, and therefore you must do it, for right or wrong.
See what
It may turn out to be folly, and you go, but you know, I've talked about this thing of this instinct that goes,
We talked about in the shed over there one day, like you see yours, what do you have to do? The right thing that's perfectly setup or something that's here that
It's in whatever,
doing this all the time, and they're like, fuck.
100 people will say, no, you mustn't do that. But if it's in there and it says, I must do it, you must do it. You must do it because it's about you and your relation to the world, not anyone else.
And very important, the idea of just doesn't feeling it comes a lot with one, trusting, and secondly, don't caring about what other people think about you or what could happen.
This is, I once taught I was teaching acting. Yeah, they're laughing at us.
Like, stop doing all that bullshit. We all know that about what's that about. You fool. You fool. Just fighting for something.
I once I was teaching like these kids acting, and this one kid came up and she said, "Oh, I did so badly, and I just feel like everyone will be judging me and like talking about me." And I go, no,
Shit.
no, it's much worse than that. It's much worse than that.
They don't give a shit.
When they walk out of here, they don't remember you at all. It's true. It's true. And no, this is the thing.
But you still have to deal with the heat of the moment.
Of course, you've got to deal with the heat of the moment. There's a lesson in the heat of the moment. Lessons, beautiful lessons.
Heat of the moment.
In the heat.
It was the
Yeah. And that's where everything you've ever learnt.
for me, it's the hard part. The heat of the moment.
Yeah.
You anticipate the heat of the moment, and then when it comes, you're like, it has come.
But I know, like, if I do wrong, let's say I break something or I say the wrong thing,
Mess up a sentence or whatever.
I just got to own up to it because I know that it's far worse, like blaming somebody else or pretending it wasn't me. It doesn't work that way, and people lose respect. They have much more respect if you go, I fucked up.
If you own it.
If you own it. It's all right. No, nobody died. Oh, look, this is great.
And if they that, well,
Yeah, and if they did
What else
die,
can I do?
then you'll be arrested and off you go. And you'll spend 7 or 8 years thinking about it, maybe 15, thinking about it.
you have time to think. You will have time to think.
Hopefully not.
Wow, so many things to talk about. Yes, and like,
Well, then you must come back.
and the last time.